Hello, ladies and gentlemen, and everything in between. Old man's got to ramble again, and I'm gonna have to go into old man rant mode. I was going down to YouTube, doom scrolling, as one does, and I made the mistake of looking at the comments, as one does. Um, I was watching clips of old movies and TV shows, just doom scrolling, just wanting to look at quick little 5, 10 minute blurbs, whatever. Didn't want to watch anything longer than that. I was tired. And reading the comments. I was watching small clips from the MASH TV show. There's some really excellent moments of MASH. I don't know if anyone here is younger than 30, probably hasn't seen it. TV show is about a MASH unit in the Korean War. The writing was just amazing for a lot of that show, and had a lot of really hard hitting moments, and just amazing writing for some of those episodes. And in the comments below, someone said, they don't write like this anymore. Now, if you recall, if you watched this before, I made a video about people who say you couldn't make these movies anymore, or you can't make movies like this anymore, and the problems I have with that statement, how it is largely incorrect, and largely by people who don't pay attention. And people who say there's no writing like this anymore. I feel the same way about. Because let's talk about the writing back then. These people seem to be under the impression that shows back then were written better. And that's not true. We remember the excellent shows. We remember MASH. We remember All in the Family. What people don't realize is that All in the Family was almost canceled during its first season because no one watched it. That amazing writing never went anywhere, almost. The show got a lot of Emmy nominations, and people who watched the Emmys were like, wait, what is this show we've never heard of? And started watching it, and that's how it became popular. But shows like MASH and All in the Family had hard-hitting and well-written episodes because the people writing and producing those shows had something important they wanted to say. But most television shows aren't made that way. They're approved by studio executives, and they don't want people to say things. They want to make money. They want to make shows with the broadest appeal that are the least offensive. They don't want to tackle tough issues. They just want to entertain people so they can bank their profits. That's how shows have always been made. People aren't talking about T.J. Hooker as a great writing show because it wasn't well written. For these 2 or 3 shows that people talk about the amazing writing, which is real amazing writing, they forget that there were 50 shows that were trash, that maybe were popular, but were written for the masses and were just lighthearted fluff. Happy Days was a great show, but it was lighthearted fluff. Yeah, they tackled a couple of issues in a couple of shows, but the show was on air for a decade. And they had maybe out of, the 40 odd episodes they made every year, maybe 2 of them had deep writing. The rest of them were fluff. And most shows that were on were like that. All the sitcoms, all the hour-long dramas, we remember the good stuff. We ignore the trash. And there was a lot of trash written back then. But people pretend, oh, great writing. And as far as you can't get shows written like that today, has no one watched Ted Lasso? That show's got amazing writing. That show brings tears to your eyes because it's such hard-hitting, well-written dramedy. It's a dramedy. It's a comedy/drama. But man, for something that's supposed to be about a goofball, Ted Lasso is a giant goofball. It is such an amazingly well-written show. Holy crap. If you haven't watched it, well, don't pay Apple Plus. Apple as a company is horrible. Find a way to pirate it, please. But please watch it if you can. If you already have Apple Plus, you should watch Ted Lasso. If you don't have Apple Plus, you should find a friend who will let you use their account or pirate it somehow. But it's not the only show out there that's well written. I mean, I just started watching some shows. I just got Netflix a couple months ago. I've watched some amazing shows. I mean, let's talk about Good Omens 2, which I've already reviewed. I mean, the original Good Omens was amazing and well written, but it was also written, in the late 80s, early 90s. So maybe not a current writing. Good Omens 2, even though I kind of nitpicked at it, was still well written and talked about some real issues and had some real hard-hitting moments in it from time to time. I could say the same thing for Carnival Row. I've seen some well-written stuff since I started streaming stuff. Yeah, there's a lot of trash out there, but there is just as much that is well-written today as there was 30 years ago, 40 years ago, 50 years ago. Good writing is good writing. There's always going to be good writing. It's a question of will the studios let it get made. It's not about the writers. It's not about woke culture, which is saying that is stupid. Saying that you can't make shows these days because of woke culture or social justice warriors or whatever that you want. No. That's stupid. That's got nothing to do with it. Good writing is good writing. When people have something to say and stories to tell, they'll try to get the shows made. And the studios will probably fight them on it because they think it won't make money. And if you don't believe me, Seinfeld almost flopped because the studios didn't know what to do with it. It didn't get any attention until they changed the time slot. They put it in a time slot that people had more access to. Its first year or so, it was in a trash time slot and nobody watched it. And Seinfeld has gone on to be one of the most, acclaimed or most loved shows of all time because it got lucky. And that's all there is to it. I don't know how else to put this. It's just like, I see people make these comments and it just frustrates me. Because these people are being blind. And I don't know if it's willful or if they're just not paying attention. I don't know. And it just gets at me. It gets under my skin. And I know it shouldn't. But there's good art out there. And saying it doesn't exist because of some political party you don't agree with or some attitude you don't agree with is just garbage. It is. I'm not saying that, criticism from a collective group doesn't affect how things are made, but it won't stop it from being made entirely. People were pushing the boundaries of the Hays Codes days. People have always pushed boundaries. And people have always had stories to tell and something to say. And hopefully they always will. Even if you try and censor people, they'll find ways to have something to say. The Hays Code was all about censorship. And people still found ways to get their stories told. So blaming crappy stuff on woke cancel culture is idiotic. I might get some pushback for that, but I don't care. I'm a grumpy old man, and I'll say whatever the hell I want. I'm done ranting about this for now. Something may happen to make me aggravated again, and I'll rant. I'll do my old man yelling at the screen again. Who the hell knows? As always, thanks for watching. If you like this video, I don't know what to tell you. And until next time, good hunting.